Hi, Julie.
Hello, Tina. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Happy
Yeah.
Monday.
Happy Monday. Happy Monday, everyone.
Yes, happy Monday, everyone. Here we are again.
Yeah. Yes. I'm gonna
Right?
say, yeah, yeah. We're over halfway through April,
Yes, we're getting there.
and yes, I think it just feels it's a tough month. It's a tough month, and
It is.
heavy energies, and
Yes,
um,
still
yeah,
here.
we're still here. So if that means you just take it day by day, you take it day by day.
That's right. Live in the
Mhm.
moment at this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it does still feel really heavy. I mean, we're coming up to we're done with the first quarter of 2021. We knew 2021 was going to be all about change,
Yeah.
with the numbers, with the numerology. So that kind of prepared us a little bit to hold on
Hmm.
because the energies will shift out eventually. They really will. But during these dark times that we're feeling or stressful times, not really dark times, there's daylight in every moment, right?
Yeah.
But the voices are getting louder and the opinions are getting stronger and the
Yeah.
shaming is getting really big right now, with shaming, like feels
Yeah.
like the whole world is judging whatever decision you feel like you should be making.
Yeah. Exactly.
So it's stressful.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm even picking up like the fears, like fears are really coming up. And it's not necessarily like it's not always about the fear of COVID anymore. It's a fear of like what's our future gonna become?
That's
Where
right.
are we headed? What's going on in our world? What does this mean? So there's fear of the future, I feel, is prominent. And
Yes.
it's like, okay, that's why, we do need, you try not to, try not to tackle that on your own right now. Like, try to find someone who will, support you or help you go through those
Yes. Like our little
difficult
community
times.
here. I see
Yes.
Eleanor and Shirley and Mom. Hello to you guys.
Hi,
Yes.
ladies.
We
Hi,
can get
ladies.
through this together.
Yeah, yeah,
We can,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And we lift the energies by doing so. We really do. We help the collective to find the peace in some of these chaotic times by coming together like this in this very platform
hmm,
and talking about our fears. I know that the energy is still heavy, and we're talking about death and dying again. And it seems like it's depressing or a negative topic, right now. But I don't want it to be that way. I want us to be able to talk about it with a light heart and
hmm,
understand that death is something that every single one of us has to deal with. Every single one of us.
yeah,
And we're no one escapes it. No one.
no,
So there's
no,
this big denial, there's this and ageism, really, especially during COVID-19, there's this bias against older people. There's this kind of movement that, well, it's just affecting old people, so I don't really have to worry
right,
about it. And my kids are safe, and so as long as the youth is safe, well, there's a lot of older people in the world, and so we feel
yeah,
so dismissed and so invaluable, like we have nothing left to offer. And I
yeah,
include myself in that scenario. I'm an older woman, I can, Rosalind's not even 35, and the people call her old, so it just, when does
oh,
this end, like
yeah,
where is this cutoff of where you're youthful, but
yeah,
ageism is a big problem. It always has been, but now COVID really shined a light on discrimination against the elderly
hmm,
and how the elderly just remind us of where we're all going, and so it's denial. It's really not wanting to accept the inevitable,
yeah,
and then punishing people that seem to be closer to that inevitable, right, instead of talking about it.
yeah, yeah. And I feel, you know, I mean, I don't know this for sure, but I feel like that generation, they've been left out in this whole thing.
Absolutely.
Like, I feel like they're not being heard. Like, like no one's like hearing them or like are they is anybody asking them like how do you feel about COVID? What do you want to do about it?
Exactly.
And I just feel like it's interesting because it's like a lot of them are super scared. Like it's
Yeah.
and that's very I'm very disappointed and I want to say kind of angry at times how it's been handled and it's like and I'm being sarcastic. It's like congratulations everyone for scaring the shit out of
Right.
out of this generation.
That's right.
That's totally wrong.
That is totally wrong. Fear mongering has just become, the number one go to get
Yeah.
followers and to be popular.
Yeah.
Hello, Joanne. How are you doing today? So good to see
Yeah.
you. But fear mongering, that's how we get, that even in the world of marketing right now, it's how to get followers, how to be popular,
Right.
how many followers do you have? That's your big testament to who you are. But my question to you is how many friends do you have? How many people really know who you are?
Right.
And
Right.
that's where our moral
Right.
character is really,
Yeah.
we've dropped the bar here on
Yeah.
followers.
And it's like that we brought this up last week. It's like we've for how many years we've been focused on quantity. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
matter what area, it doesn't matter if it's applied to a person or a thing. It's like we've been focused on the quantity instead of quality.
That's right.
And
That's
um
right.
I I mean I love seniors.
Yes,
I do.
right.
I've always had a special place in my heart for them since and I've always liked to hang out with them from a young kid.
Yeah, me too.
And this just hurts me
Me too.
how they feel about all this, because
Yeah.
I have a handful of my friends are senior age group and they're near and dear to me and it pains me to hear how they feel and they keep bringing up to me how scared they are and now with this variant and I'm just so and it's like there's nothing I can see can say or do that to help them because it's like they're constantly watching the news
Yeah. And falling into that.
and yeah and then
Yeah.
it's almost like I think too like they feel really like they're vulnerable already for
Mm.
different reasons and it's like this has made them even more vulnerable,
Oh,
right?
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's
And I
so hard on the physical body too as well, these stress factors, and then you add
yeah.
in all of this stuff as well. Hello to my cousin Chrissy. I just saw we're talking about death, and she just had some baby colts that were born, and she's so
Oh
good with these animals, so congratulations. I saw that
yeah, that's
video. It
nice.
was so nice.
Oh,
That's
very
what we need, are
nice.
these life stories and
Yeah,
these
yeah.
these things. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I think too, like, in all this, I do believe the sadness is here for a reason,
yeah.
because it helps us. Um, oh, I read something, they said like sadness brings people more together than love does.
Really, that's a more bonding element than love.
Yeah, because and if
Wow.
you think about it, I mean, I think love is good. Yeah, like it can bring people together. But if you think about it, like um, when there's sadness or hardship, a lot of times it's like, people will try to band together to help, you know,
Makes sense. Yeah,
and lift them up or, yeah, get them out of it. So,
that's interesting.
but yeah,
Very
I thought that
interesting.
too. Like, I thought that was an interesting concept. But yeah,
Yeah,
I do feel like, with sadness, there is, joy as well. And, they go hand in hand. We need
yeah,
both. And,
yeah,
I do want people to, despite how difficult and, we don't know, like how our future is going to totally unfold, especially, in the next month or whatever, right?
right.
That I just want to say, like, there are moments of light, like there are things to find that can bring a bit of joy or, laughter or love. And that's what we need to look for, right?
Right.
And
Absolutely. Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Right. It's human, characteristic to love looking at the light of day. It's everybody's um that's life. That's a human experience. And so to say that somebody is more warranted to look at that light every day than someone else, it's very dismissive, it's very hurtful and harmful.
Yeah, Yeah.
And to be able to pick and choose, to think that we can pick and choose who should live and who should die is very
Yeah.
harmful. And we are
Yeah.
not God. And, but talking about the process of death itself is very
Mm.
scary. It's very scary. It's something we all have to do. And it's terrifying to think about the unknown like that, because nobody knows where you're going.
No,
So
I mean,
we pull together with these stories of hope. Like, yeah, I know you were going to bring up a near death experience, and people have had these experiences. They've died, they've seen things, and they come back and they tell us about this,
yeah.
So it's wonderful to hear those stories of hope and where people are going. And, you see
Yeah.
the one thing you can choose, even if you get diagnosed or a sudden, not sudden death, that's different, but when you're aging, you can choose your death. You really can, with dignity. Like, that is up to us to when we're going to die. You see this in people that have lived a full, long life, and they're dying in a hospital bed, and they're waiting for something. They're waiting for a certain person that we don't even know about, or a certain
Right.
voice. They're not going to leave this earth until they have that closure within themselves, and they will linger for as long as it takes. I've seen this happen.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they just need a little assistance over. Don't be afraid. My mother talked to my grandmother through the other side. Literally, at her death, my grandmother was waiting for something. It felt like she didn't want to leave the party. My grandma, she'd
Mm.
rally up every time we'd show up. They'd call us and say she's going now. We'd all show up and
Right.
she'd rally. Her blood pressure
Right.
would come up.
Right.
So she was waiting for that. So my mom literally eased her fears of crossing over. We're going to be okay. And that's what the dying wants to know. Are you going to be okay? With my death,
Mm-hmm.
that's the big thing that I hear toward the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they want you to be okay. They don't want you to stop your life because theirs has ended. That's the
Yeah.
last thing that they want. And sometimes we get stuck in that. There's so much guilt and so much related to death that really comes up in that moment.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
right,
Yeah. And I find, yeah, so like death, it's one of the biggest unknowns in life, right?
right,
One of
right.
our biggest mysteries in life. It's hard to prove what
Yes,
happens, right? And then
right.
and then it's very personal. It's a
Very
very
personal.
personal, because everyone
Yes.
has their own beliefs, and that can be influenced by your family, it can be influenced by culture, because
Mm-hmm.
culture have different customs and belief systems connected to death.
Yeah,
It can be religion, right?
right.
And I'm not going to name names, but there's some religions that make death scary,
Yeah,
right? Or
right.
if you don't behave a certain way this life, or if you don't do certain things, you're going to hell. And for one, I can't prove it, but I totally don't believe in that.
No, me either. I don't believe in a vengeful God. I just don't.
No, no.
Right.
And so like you said, the only way we can go by it is like, okay, through experiences or the stories that people share connected
That's
to
right.
death. So those who work in an environment where they are around people who pass away, they see that frequently.
That's right.
I
Yeah.
mean, there's some beautiful stories there,
Oh, yes. Some
right?
beautiful stories there.
Some of
Yes.
us, even maybe in the room here today, I have, been in a room where someone took their last breath,
Hmm. Yeah.
and passed away. Um, and then there's those who've had near-death experiences, and if they share those stories, and some of them, not everyone is open and upfront about it, because I've come across people in the past who've had a near-death experience and they're like, they don't want to talk about it, and that's fine. And then there's some you can find, like, there's books written on it or articles.
Hmm.
So, those can bring, you don't have to believe them, but it can bring some sort of comfort or open up your mind, or your heart to, like, the possibilities, right?
Hmm. Of course.
Yeah.
Yes. Of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
It's always helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I've heard a few near death experiences. I had a woman in the office who had a near death experience, and she was telling me all about that. And at the end of her story, she says, not only am I not afraid to die, I'm looking forward to it. She had this wonderful attitude about it, and boy, did that ease my fears of somewhat, because I have others in there who are terrified to die, and they're
Mhm.
really
Yeah.
scared.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes you just have to listen to that fear. You reacting to it is kind of sometimes the worst thing you can do. Like that person who's terrified to die in that moment, they don't want to hear me say, well, God will greet you, or
Mm.
they don't believe that in that moment. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like that doesn't help. So you do
Yeah.
have to be careful in the conversation
Right.
when somebody's preparing to die.
Yeah.
You have to just listen, really, just listen. They have things they want to share with you that they can't share with their family. Another woman who was dying of cancer, she was my age, she was 45 at the time, we were both in our mid 40s. She had a really bad night, and she had an adult daughter, and she was terrified because her daughter was just going to get married. She wasn't going to be able to see her grandchildren. She knew she was
Mm.
dying of this cancer. So she looked at me one day. She had a really hard night. She had thrown up blood, and it was really hard for her. And she was scared, and she just looked right at me with these big blue eyes, and they were filled with tears. And she said, "I'm just so scared to die. I'm terrified to die." And she said, "I can't tell my daughter that because my daughter will hear those words the rest of her life.
Mm.
These are temporary words for me. I'm scared right now telling you this, Julie, you know."
Mhm.
But I totally understood what she was saying. She did not want her daughter to hear these words, "I'm scared to die,"
Yeah.
because she
Yeah.
knew her daughter, that's what she'd remember, that her mom was scared. And at the end, she wasn't, probably, I don't know. I wasn't there for her, but she just made it clear that that's how she was feeling in that moment. And sometimes they just need a stranger to tell that to, somebody who's not going to not internalize it like her daughter would have.
Yeah.
So it is,
Yeah.
it is, just listen, really. That's the only
Yeah.
advice I
That's
can
right.
say. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, you can't dismiss what they're feeling either, especially if
That's
when it
right.
comes to that subject, right?
Right. It wasn't my place
Because
to say, don't be scared. It
yeah,
wasn't my place to
yeah,
say that.
because I mean
Yeah.
that's valid, and
Yeah.
one of the big reasons is because it's a big unknown, right? They don't,
That's right.
there's that uncertainty. Like, am I really going to a good place? Is it going to? Some people they're scared. Like, is it going to be painful?
Right. Nobody wants pain for any
Right?
loved one or themselves. Yeah.
Yeah. Did I? And then some people could be like, is the people I leave behind because they're concerned about their loved ones. Are they going to
Of
be
course.
okay?
Yeah. Right.
Did I do enough this lifetime? Like there's all these things comes up,
All
and
these things. Yeah.
it could be all of those reasons and many more, or just one. And
Exactly
so
right.
that's why we have to be like compassionate, yeah, like you say, compassionate, and just
That's
hear them
right.
out, hold their hand, yeah,
And
love them through it,
that's right.
yeah,
Oh yes,
yeah,
absolutely. Love them
yeah, yeah,
through it too. And don't, you can't retract into how you're feeling about it in that moment. You have to really disconnect your own feelings about death in that moment when someone's really coming to you, in that moment. But we're getting
yeah.
a lot of good ideas. I see my Aunt Joy, she says there's a Netflix series called Surviving Death. That's very interesting. So
I
maybe
think I
that's something to
watched it
check out.
already.
Did
Yeah, but
you?
I think so. Yeah, because
Good.
I mean, I shouldn't say I love, but I'm fascinated by
Yes. Oh,
the subject of death, and I think maybe I'm wondering, like, it could be maybe because I had a near death experience. That could be a big. So, and I'm always curious, when other people who I don't have to know each one, but like that have a book or they share their story about their own near death. I'm always curious because I
right.
want to know, is it similar? Because it's like maybe kind of
Exactly.
validation, like I don't feel alone, or I didn't,
Yeah.
or what do they feel afterwards when they
I'm
did
I'm
come back?
reading I'm reading
Hmm.
Eleanor saying that happened to her when her sister-in-law died. I remember her talking about the sister-in-law
Oh,
that
right,
died of cancer. You remember that?
right.
And she told her that she didn't want to die, and all she could do was cry with her. It was heart-wrenching. See, so
Yeah,
Eleanor, I feel like she chose you in that moment to say that to, really, because you
yeah.
could receive that. and
Hmm.
and other people in her life, maybe even her closest people, that she could not say that to, you know what I mean? Because of fears of that. So you're very, very, very brave to be able to sit in that room. She knew she could trust you
Yeah.
with that information, just like that client of mine knew she could
Yeah.
trust me with that information. And that's
Yeah.
a special thing. That's a special
It
bond
is.
that you
Yes.
had, right?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. She felt safe with her. That is a
Good.
gift, as hard it is for you. And, you know, um, when I, after I lost my mom passed away, and I was struggling with the grief. And I was like searching, okay, what's going to heal me? What's going to help me with this pain afterwards, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I met with Indigenous medicine woman,
Yeah.
and she said these words. And now I might not be exactly correct, but she
Yeah.
said, when it comes to dying, at first it's about the person who's passing away.
Right.
Okay, it's about them. It's about, making sure that they are comforted and eased into the next world.
That's right.
And then she says, and after they pass, then death is about those that are left behind, because they have to pick up the pieces and heal their
Right.
broken heart.
Yeah.
And I mean, that doesn't seem much. And people say, yeah, of course it is. Like people might, say, of course it is. But
Yeah.
at that time, it's like, that's what helped me. It's like that
Yes.
got me over that hump of feeling so grief stricken. And I don't know, like, if that will help anyone out there that's listening, but
Yes.
it's like, okay, because sometimes it can be irritating to hear, like, especially if someone knows, like, you lost someone near and dear, and they say, oh, they went off to a better place, or they're not suffering anymore. And sometimes that can be irritating to hear,
That's right.
don't you think?
Yeah. Oh, yes. I know exactly what you mean. Yes. Don't presume that you know what words they need to hear, because
Because
it
it's
would
like,
comfort you. Yeah.
right, because it's like when you're grieving, it's like you're not thinking of that. And
That's
I
right.
can, and a part of you is probably like saying, like, yes, if they were suffering, yes, it is better because they're not suffering anymore. But it's like you're suffering now, and it's like that doesn't help my suffering, that doesn't help my pain, that doesn't
That's right.
bring me comfort.
That's right. Yes.
So
Yes. I'm thinking of Nicole Kidman, I think it was right now in a movie. She lost a child in something, and she was in a support group, a grief counseling group with other parents. And somebody said to her, well, God needed your little angel,
mm,
they told her. And she goes off on that person. He's God, get his own angel. He doesn't need my angel. Don't
yeah,
presume that what will ease you will not necessarily ease someone else's pain,
that's right, that's right.
right?
Yeah, yeah, and like, you know, I just want to say, a lot of times those words do not help.
Right.
Yeah,
What not to say. Maybe that's
yeah,
what we need, is a what not to say.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Right.
because yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Don't
Hmm.
impose any kind of belief because what eases us does not ease everyone, and it's
Yeah.
such, like you said, it's personalized.
Hmm.
So, but there are these near death experiences. That seems very,
Oh
so
yes.
that gives me hope, because
Mm.
they do seem similar, right? There seems to be a light, a warm feeling, a pull, loved ones there, or a feeling that loved ones are there. There seems to be some commonalities to near death experiences. So I
Hmm.
was fascinated when you told me about your near death experience. I was fascinated. I've always
Mm.
wanted to hear these stories, because then I can formulate my own kind of guide of what's ahead.
Okay.
So tell us a little bit. I know it's
Okay.
probably detailed, but I think people
Yeah.
would love to hear what you
Yeah.
experienced.
Okay. And then I just want to share. So sometimes I get really emotional, so I better grab some Kleenex
We'll be there with
just in
you.
case. So if I pause and get quiet, it's just because I need to catch my breath, because it was a very emotional experience. I'm going to do my best to find words to articulate. Um, and the other thing I want to say too, feel free to ask questions or make any comments because Julie's going to be looking in the room and she'll share them out loud and so if you guys have questions to me, I will do my best to answer. So anything goes. You can ask me any question about my experience, how I feel my experience might relate to my belief system about death, because I feel it's influenced greatly my belief system about the death and where we go, afterwards. Okay, so this happened in 1975, a long time ago.
Not
And
that long ago.
and um and I remember like it was yesterday,
Yeah.
because that's how profound the
Vivid.
experience was, vivid. And I even remember the feeling. Like I think what to really stuck with me too was like the feeling of it. Okay, like how it felt. So it was the summer of 1975. I was 5 years old, and it was summer. And I remember that because where I grew up, there's a big yearly event called the Calgary Stampede, and I was missing out on that. So I was very upset about that.
For good reason.
Yeah, because I was in the hospital recovering from my near-death experience. So, anyways, I can't remember much beforehand. And some things I'm going to share afterwards. It's what was told to me by my parents. Okay. So, um, I remember like not feeling well that day. And then as the day progressed, and I want to say like a flu, like it felt like a flu. So my mom did what moms did, and at the time in the 70s, like there's not a lot of medicine. There wasn't a lot of medicine around like there is now, right? So my mom, she um, tended to me. So it's like, put me in my pajamas. She liked to put Vicks, so she was putting Vicks and setting, just getting me all comfortable, and it's because I wasn't feeling well and in bed.
Yeah.
So that's that. So then so in the middle of the night, um, I woke up because I felt like my body was on fire. I
Mm-hmm.
was so hot. And I had trouble. And the more I was like feeling this heat, this body heat, the more my breath was becoming labored. So it's like I was having a hard time breathing easily and catching my breath. And the last thing I remember like of that incident, so it's like, and it didn't feel good. I remember feeling like, I'm on, like, it's like someone set me on fire. It was
Yeah.
really hot.
Did you have fear? Were you scared?
I wasn't fear. I just didn't like it was like I didn't feel good. I didn't,
Just
when
felt
you're
bad.
sick
Yeah.
with the flu, I want to say like, when you're sick with the flu or anything, it's like you feel so awful and it's like you just want to get rid
Just
of
don't
it.
care. Yeah. Yeah.
That's how I was feeling. So I wasn't scared. I wasn't questioning like what was going on. It was just like, I'm not
Sick.
feeling
Yeah.
good. Yeah, I don't like, yeah, I'm sick. I want this to stop right now.
Yeah.
And as I was feeling, like, it was interesting because things are happening simultaneously as I'm going through this experience. So I'll try to be clear. Okay. So as I was feeling this like discomfort of, the heat and everything, all of a sudden, it's like a rush of butterflies. I was surrounded by thousands and thousands of butterflies
Yeah.
all around me. And they looked really real, and that's what freaked me out at first. It's like, where are all these butterflies coming from? Why are they surrounding me?
Yeah.
And the more I was like thinking that they were dispelling, and like, and then when I thought like I've had enough of feeling this way, boom, it was gone.
Wow.
I didn't feel the heat. I didn't feel discomfort. I felt really light. And I can't remember who was in. it's like, someone had asked me one time, was it painful? And it was like, it wasn't like the experience, like, the symptoms of it. I don't know, like it was painful maybe, or discomfort, uncomfortable. But it's as soon as I said or felt like I'm done with this, it's like it was done.
Wow.
I like it. And it was, I want to say it's like taking off a coat.
Mm.
You know how, like, sometimes, or like, women, like if they're wearing their bra all day and they're
Yeah.
like, I can't wait to get
Rip
this
it off.
off because it's uncomfortable. It's like that.
Huh.
That kind of, that's the best way I can explain it. So it's like one moment it was like gone. I felt lighter. And all the butterflies had gone, and I found myself in front of a maze, what looked like a maze, like those hedges that people make, and they're like a maze.
Mm-hmm.
So I was looking at it, and it's like in my mind, it's like these questions were coming up, and it's like they were being answered. And it's like, even though there was nobody around me, I didn't feel alone. Like I knew I wasn't alone. I didn't feel alone.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at this maze, and it's like I'm looking at straight on, and it's like, what am I? And right away I'm like, what am I doing here? And then all of a sudden it's like, and it wasn't like I don't know how to explain it. It was like a voice, but it wasn't a voice. It's like it was through me.
Mm.
So it was like, you have to go to the center. And I'm this little kid, and it's like, it looked big,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
like really square. And on the outside, it looked like really big. And it's like it was like 3D. So it's like I could see to the center, and it's like the center looked really tiny, like a
Mm.
pinhole. And so I'm like, how am I going to get there? And as soon as I said that, it's like, I felt myself going.
Oh.
And what appeared to be square, and where the outside looked big and the middle looked like a pinhole, it wasn't. It was more like a spiral.
Oh, the Fibonacci spiral.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
kind of circular or oval like.
Yeah.
And the outside was small. And as I got being pulled to the center, it's like it was getting bigger and expansive and brighter. And it's like I was just pulled. So it's like, boom, one moment on the outside, boom, one moment in the center.
Oh, wow.
And as soon as I got to the center, and it didn't feel like, as even though it was like fast, it didn't feel fast. Like it was like one moment here, one moment there, like a snap of a finger is how I want to put it.
Yeah.
So when I got through to the center, I landed in this gorgeous, gorgeous field. This is where I'm going to feel emotional.
That's okay.
So the field was like very golden. Um, in the scenery, I saw rolling hills, blue sky. There were flowers. There was some green, and I want to say the colors they were alive. That's how
Right.
can I explain? That's the best way I
Yeah.
can. And so vivid.
Yeah.
Like I love bright colors,
Yeah.
and I can understand why, because of what I saw there. But it's like I have yet to see colors like being that bright from there. But it's like they were alive, and they were love.
Yeah.
It's like, I know that sounds strange, but it's
Oh.
like that's what they were. And I just remember feeling like, and knowing I'm home.
Hmm.
This is home.
Yeah. Huh.
Like I'm back home. And again, there was nobody there, but I didn't feel alone. I knew I wasn't alone.
Yeah.
I felt that's where the feeling is hard to describe.
Yeah.
So it's like very profound love, very profound peace, joy. It's like, how on here it's like all the emotions we feel, like, and some of them can feel very heavy, and
Mm-hmm.
like they don't always feel good, and it's like there's judgment, or we question things, and it's like when I was there, it was like everything made sense.
Yeah.
And there was like, and it was just all about love and light. Like there was no judgment. It was like,
Right.
it just didn't feel like I missed out on anything. I forgot anything. No, it's like it was all back to home and it all felt good and it was familiar
And complete.
and complete and very accepting and like all was right. That's the best way I can say it. Like
I
all
love
was right.
that. Yes. That's
And
beautiful.
I wanted to, the way it felt, it's like, try to think in a moment in your life where you felt at your best or you felt so good about you and your life and amplify that by thousands.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like over there.
Wonderful.
And so
Yeah.
I'm there, and all of a sudden, this chanting kind of music comes through. And it wasn't English. So the best way I can say it's like, it reminds me of the Sanskrit, like, like how they do their chanting and their hum and and all that. That's what it sounded like. But it wasn't foreign to me when I was there. It was like, I was just receiving, like it was like all is right. Whatever's happening was good, all was right. So this is playing out, and it's like it went through me, it entered me. And as it entered me, it translated into messages. So I was given certain messages about like what was, like things that it's like they wanted me to know certain things about what was coming my way in my life up ahead.
Yeah.
And also maybe other things too, because I don't, after I, after I woke out of this experience, like I didn't remember all the messages. Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, so it's like as this chanting was coming through me, it translated into these messages, and then they just went out, and it was like, oh, and it felt like very loving, like that's good, okay,
Yeah.
and because some of the messages weren't, if you would consider it in our world, would not be pleasant messages, like why would they tell you that? That's not
Well, what's an example if you have one? If you can
so
share one.
yeah, so one of them was I was not going to be a mummy. Like I wasn't going to be a mother this lifetime. They said you're going to be an auntie, but you're not meant to be a mom. You're not going to have kids. So that can be really heartbreaking.
Oh yeah.
you
Especially at 5 years old.
Yeah. And so, but when they were giving that to me, it was like, that's fine. Like it wasn't like I wasn't judging it. I wasn't questioning it. It was like, that's right. Like it was right. It was, that's love. It was love and light. It's okay.
Of course.
It's what we think of it in our human existence that
translation
stumbles us.
Yes. Right.
So that was one of them. So these messages are going through, and it's like, that's all fine. And then I hear something that feels out of place that catches my attention. So it's almost like I hear something and it's like, that's not, and it's like I knew it wasn't from there.
Yeah.
So it's like I kind of turned around to look, and it's like, it's our living room. It's the living room of where I grew up. And my mom, and what caught my attention was my mom was crying.
Oh, okay. Is that what you heard, you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what brought me. Interesting. Like that's what pulled me to, the earth world. And it's like, and I'm perplexed because I'm like, why is she crying?
Yeah.
Because she was so sad. And I'm like, and I can, looking at it, it's like, well, I'm in a place where it's just love and light. There's no sadness there. So it's perplexing to me. Yeah. And it's like, and then I see myself on the living room couch, and I'm like, why am I on the couch? And why? And then at the time, doctors made house calls still. Yeah. So our family doctor was there, and his name was Dr. David. And it's like, so I'm like, why is Dr. David here? Yeah. And it's like, why are they taking off my pajamas? And why are they soaking me with water?
Yeah. Like you
And
were witnessing this rather than
yeah,
living it.
and why
Yeah.
is he on the phone? And like, you know, and like I've
Yeah.
got all the like, and it's and then I'm like, I'm okay because you know they're doing stuff to my body, and I don't feel it because I'm watching this. It's like it comes through like a movie or a TV show, and I'm trying to, you know, say to them, I'm okay. I'm right
Yeah.
here. I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm healthy. I'm good. What are you doing? And but they couldn't hear me. They didn't know. They didn't see
Oh
that. They were
boy.
like,
Yeah.
so I'm doing this, and then all of a sudden I see Dr. David going over my chest. So I think he was giving me CPR, right? Or mouth to mouth.
Hmm.
And that's where I blanked out. So everything,
You were done.
I was done.
Yeah.
Um, I woke up. So I don't remember how long I was out. But you know, so this is the part where I'm going by what was told to me. Okay. So I was out for 3 days
Wow.
in the hospital. So I was in a bubble tent, one of those bubble
Yeah.
oxygen tanks,
Hmm.
and it was like all zippered, like this plastic. And I
Yeah.
had tubes all over me. And then all of a sudden I sat up, and it's like the alarm went off, and I'm like, you know, where am I? I felt heavy
Yeah.
where I felt like before, and I felt really heavy.
Hmm.
And then, of course, like, you know, the nurse came in, and I could only see her eyes because they were all gowned up,
Yeah.
and covered up. And, you know, the doctor came in, you know, to check me over, blah, blah. So I ended up being in isolation for 2 weeks in the hospital room. I was only allowed one visitor.
Mm.
So my mom was the only one that was able to come and visit me every day. Everyone that came into the room, you know, whether it was a doctor, a nurse, my mom, they all had to be completely covered up. So only their eyes, because they did not know what happened with me. They did not know
What you had.
what they diagnosed was an
Yeah.
unknown virus.
Huh.
Isn't that ironic? Of all
Very.
things. So it was an
Right?
unknown, yeah, and they didn't know what kind of virus, like it
Mm.
was, or how I got it. They were concerned. The reason why everyone had to take such protocols because they weren't sure if, you know, how contagious it was, like if someone else would catch it from me.
Mm.
And the doctors, they were amazed. No lingering problems. Like when I woke up, like there was no side effects, there was no damage to any part of my organs, my body, nothing.
Wow.
So they could not explain that. So it was a
Huh.
mystery. So there's a lot of mysteries connected to what, you know, how I got it, why,
Yeah.
where. Um,
No one else had it around
no,
you. No one else was sick
no one
around you.
got it. No,
Mm.
which, yeah. So that's why. And I remember there's a side story to this. Um, the doctor that came to check me every morning, he liked to do magic tricks, and I think he did it too to cheer me up because it was hard. You know, like I couldn't leave the room. I was bored. And there wasn't
Sure.
like, it wasn't like today. There was no cell phones to play games or to
Yeah.
keep connected with people.
Right.
There was no TV. Like, you know, it was very
Yeah.
plain. So he used to do this one magic trick, the quarter. So he would like show me the quarter in his hand, la la, and then make it disappear, and then he would pull it from behind my ear and he would let me keep it.
Oh, double bonus.
Yeah, so it's like that was thrilling. So
Oh, how wonderful. I mean, what
so
a wonderful story to be able to look back on with that kind of vividness, for sure.
yeah,
An
yeah,
experience.
yeah,
It's
and
like you
I
got sick just to experience this,
yeah, and
right?
I mean, um, how can I say it?
So, did they ever deem that you had died? Did they ever deem that you, for a certain amount of time, or did that
Yeah,
ever come
yeah,
about?
I don't know how much time because my mom didn't want to say.
Mm,
And I
interesting.
mean, I don't know. And
Yeah. Mm,
I think it was very emotional for my mom because, and I
Oh
can
yeah,
understand, right? Because she almost lost, a child.
sure. Yours
And
are
I
the
don't know if
worst.
anyone out there who's lost a child,
My Aunt Joy,
it's one of,
yes.
yeah, it's one of the most
And her
painful
daughter
things.
Sherry. Right. It
Oh,
is the most. Hello to my friend Chrissy and Megan.
uh,
Yeah, that's the loss that you just don't get over. You just don't. You have
yeah,
to integrate that kind of grief into your life. You will never be done with that kind of grief. So I
yeah,
could see why your
yeah,
mom was very devastated, right?
yeah,
Way
yeah.
more
But
devastating for you to die than her to die, right? When she was dying, that was devastating for you. But if you had died, that would have
yeah,
ruined her life. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. And I'm sure it was her crying that brought me
yeah,
back because there was nobody there to say, like, Tina, it's not your time. You got to go back. It was
yeah,
like, it was like, I want to say, reflecting back on it, it was like the choice was left up to me. Like it
yeah,
was, so it was a matter of like I could have stayed,
yeah.
but or I could have gone back. It wouldn't, and I chose to go back. And I want to say because my mom,
Hmm.
it was like her crying. That's what I want to say. Her crying
Yeah,
really affected me, and yeah, and
yeah.
it's like it's almost like the more I was focusing on my body being there and the actions they were doing, it was like the more it seemed like it was pulling my soul back. You see what
Wow.
I mean? Because
I
it's like I
do.
was leaning into it.
Yeah. Like you were tethered to that
Yeah. Yeah.
body.
And
Yeah.
then it's like, and then as soon as I saw Dr. David like doing this, boom, like everything blacked out. It's like I wasn't there
Wow.
anymore. And yeah, and woke up in my
Oh my
body.
God. What
And
a,
I know that experience has affected me in many ways.
yeah.
And, I know it has an influence on how I've lived my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, it even comes, how can I say? Um, and at times it's not always easy,
No.
I want to say,
Because it
like,
would be easy to go back for you.
yeah. And like, I mean, I have my moments where I think like, because I know what it's like. I believe,
Yeah.
where I went,
Right.
and I
Yeah.
believe like what that all is. And I know I'm going to go back there. And it's like, it's so much nicer. It's like, why do I even want to stay here anymore? Like, and people don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
I have my moments where it's like, I don't want to be here anymore. It's too hard.
Yeah. I want to
It's
take
too
this heavy
heavy.
suit off.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
like, I know what it's like there. It's like, I would rather be there,
Yeah. Right.
you know?
But then again,
Yeah.
you will be.
Yeah.
Why jump to the inevitable anyway? When you're here
Yeah.
to learn these human lessons, you're here to learn how to integrate those experiences into a life that the angels don't have right now.
Yeah.
That physical life, that the contrast. See, we don't have any contrast in the afterlife.
No.
It's here that we have the contrast. It's here that we're learning the lessons. It's
Yeah.
here that we have to really focus on living in that moment because it's all we have is this moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but it's the contrast. But the contrast is what expands and grows consciousness as a whole, as a collective. So we are here to expand. We are here to
Mhm.
feel that contrast, as painful and as exuberant as it is.
Yeah.
And the lower you go on the lows, the higher you're going to go on the highs. And it hurts so much harder when you're down in those low times. You
Yeah.
just want to escape. You just want to escape. It seems unbearable in a moment sometimes when grief is striking you. It feels like I can't do this. I'm not strong enough to do this. I can't.
Yeah.
When you're losing someone. Now, maybe, I don't know how it is when you're the one going. Now you have something for a fact for you personally, and you can share that with us, and that makes me know because I trust you and your experience.
Yeah.
But when you're losing someone else and you're feeling that physical loss, that physical pain, that moment of I can't cope is really scary. It's really a scary moment in everyone's life when you're feeling like I can't cope with this. I can't
Yeah.
do this.
Yeah.
And that's when these stories are really heartwarming, because now someone who's lost someone can say, well, that sounds wonderful, that place. That sounds like love and light. That sounds all accepting. That sounds wonderful,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And I can understand, like, I mean, not everyone's feels this way and not everyone's experience when it comes to like when they're on their that moment of meeting death or going into death. But I can understand when I hear people saying like, you know, they died alone or they wanted to die alone. I can understand
Mm-hmm.
why in
Mm-hmm.
this, like, you know, like, and I can, you know, it may not be the reason why, but it's like I compare to like, well, when I had my death experience, you know, if it wasn't for my mom, I would have stayed. I know it,
Yeah,
right?
right.
If I was alone, if she didn't, I don't know how she knew to check in on me to get me out of the bed and, you know, get the doctor. I don't know all that. And she never talked about that part. She didn't want to, so I never pushed her on it.
Yeah,
And I can't now because she's gone. But I know if she wasn't awake or around when that incident happened, I would have been
yeah. She
gone.
was your
And
anchor.
yet those who feel like, you know, well, I wish I was there, and I don't want them to feel guilty either, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah,
Like
there's a
thinking
lot of
like
guilt.
if I was only there, they would have stayed, right? And that's not. I don't want people, you know, I don't want people to feel that or think that.
No, it's horrible to feel
Yeah,
that way. I could
yeah,
have done something is a horrible feeling. Yeah.
hmm yeah,
Right? Yeah,
yeah.
I should have done something. Yeah.
Because I mean, I've been in the room when someone's, you know, taking their last breath, and it's like I didn't want them to go, but they
No.
still went, right? So
Yeah.
so it's like I want people to realize it's like that the soul does have that choice in the very
Right.
end whether to stay or to go. I really
Yeah.
do. Yeah.
There's
And
that
it's
free
and
will.
it's yeah. So and it's a love, it's out of love when they make that choice. I truly believe that. It's not because of, you know, um, whether you what you did or didn't do.
Right. Your
Yeah, because
accomplishments
that's
or your,
not, yeah, that's
yeah.
not going through
Yeah.
their mind, right? Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
yeah,
Right. It's people
hmm
and relationships and connections
yeah,
that
yeah,
everyone I've talked to in that last moment has talked
yeah,
about their connections and the
yeah,
people they love, and more importantly, people who loved them. You know, that seems to be a common conversation, is who loved me and who really cared about me and who,
yeah.
right? Not
Yes,
even so much about who they cared about, but who cared about them, you know?
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
that's seems to be important for
yeah,
sure. Yeah.
yeah. And how much, and even like, you know, on their deathbed, like how much love they have for,
Yes.
right? Because
Right.
it's almost, I want to say it's like a lot of things leave them.
Yes.
So it's like the regrets leave, because it's like love. I'm gonna try not to, love takes over
Yeah,
in the dying process. That's,
it does. I've seen
I
that too. Yeah.
experienced it and I believe that, and I want to say I think I've seen that in the room.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, that is God to me, is love, is all unconditional, all accepting love,
Yeah.
right?
hmm
So it's so wonderful to hear that story, Tina. Thank you so much for
Oh,
sharing
you're
that with all
welcome.
of us, and giving us a little bit of hope and what
Mm.
maybe is to come for us, you know? And we're all going there. We are
Yeah,
all
we're
going
all
there, you
dying.
know?
Yeah,
Right? I
yeah,
remember saying that to that client, that I will see you there, you know? You'll
yeah,
see us all where you're going. We will all be. We will all be, every single person you love in this moment will be joining you someday, you know, and that's
yeah,
kind of comforting to them,
yeah,
you know, sometimes to hear that, because there
yeah,
is no escape from it. So that then it gives them something to say, okay, well, yeah, this is inevitable. This is going to happen to everyone I love. And so at least, I even had one client say, well, at least I won't have to watch any more people die.
mm,
She was happy in that moment because she didn't have to watch any more of her loved ones die. And she
yeah,
was maybe in her 90s. So that really was like, oh my
Yeah.
God, right? She was so
Yeah.
relieved that she wouldn't have to live through
Yeah.
grief anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I thought that was, and
Yeah.
Eleanor is saying thank you for sharing too. I'm sure a lot of people are appreciative of you
I
sharing
hope
that
so.
story. For
Yeah.
sure. For sure. It was very enlightening. Very. And filled with love. And that's what we need.
Yeah. 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 It
Yeah.
is.
And kind of a release, because we want to be free of this fear. We want to be free of this fear. We want to just know where our loved ones are, don't we? We
Yeah.
just want to know for sure that
Yeah.
they're okay.
Yeah.
And so hearing these stories, it shows us that they are okay.
Yeah. And I want to just say something, one of the biggest challenges I've had since that experience
Mm-hmm.
is trying to um, I don't know, how can I put it? Because of so much the love that I felt there,
Mm-hmm.
because it was just like pouring and coming like through
Through
and
you.
around,
Yeah.
and it's like, because I've read stories where people say, like, they bring that message back, right, when they come back from, and it's like that's the message that they share.
Mm-hmm.
um but it's like my biggest struggle is like I feel like I miss something's missing with
Mm-hmm.
me.
Yeah, I know what you
It's
mean. That's what
because
my friend said. Yes.
I don't know how that's the
Yeah.
best way I can explain it. So it's
Yeah.
like at times I struggle with like why are we still hating so much on each other? Like when are we going to actually get it? Because it's like we get all these messages like this is most important and this is how we should live our life. And it's
Mm-hmm.
really hard for me to be a witness
Mm-hmm.
and to try to assimilate into
Mm-hmm.
that kind of world, because it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna, yes I want to be successful, and yes I want this and that, and it's like, but it's still, I struggle with that in a sense, because
Yeah.
it's like, well, it doesn't feel light and love,
No.
and so I
No.
struggle with that.
I've heard this so many times, and the term FOMO, fear of missing out, really got big with social media because there is a true fear of missing out on something, being left behind, not being included in this heaven that you speak of, or not that that's what you're saying, but
Yeah.
there's this fear of missing out, this FOMO that goes throughout the cultures, and it has a lot to do. Social media really propelled this fear by being itself, by being who it is, by being social media itself. We have access to the globe, we have access to the world, and so it became so important. I think we started out saying this about how many followers you have, how popular you are, not really what your morals are, what your character is, what your message is. That kind of went to down some rungs because the other messages were getting so many likes and so many shares and so many subscribes, and that became, you are a god because
Oh
you
yeah.
have millions of people following you, so you are a god. And they don't really take notice of why you're a god or what message you're spreading. It's a lot of hate, it's a lot of hate mongering, and I have to think that if Adolf Hitler had social media today, he would be revered in social media. He would be shared and
Mm,
liked and subscribed to because of his hate messages.
right.
And I'm waiting for this shift to happen. I really am, for love to really take over. I saw a post not long ago on a board that's supposed to be all about love and light and acceptance, and there was a meme that was shared about love and accepting of all, of accepting everyone, and two or three people had a problem with that.
Oh.
Yeah, and this is the new platform. Is I have an issue with that. It's
Oh.
very didactic, very preachy of how we should feel about things, how we should feel about death, how we should feel about whatever, and so in the process of everybody being heard, nobody is heard.
Yeah.
The message is
Yeah.
lost. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm waiting.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe that's where you're feeling like you're missing out on something. You're missing out on that unconditional love. You're missing out on beings looking at you and feeling for you in an unconditional love way, just pure
Yeah.
acceptance of who you are as a soul, not even your physical
That's
body,
right.
not what you look like, not even what you're saying, but it was your energy they were encompassing. It was your spirit that they
Yeah.
were bringing into theirs and integrating you into them,
Yeah.
and this is how it's will be for all
Yeah.
of us.
Yeah. Because when I was there, um, I was love,
Mm-hmm.
and
You were part
and
of
I
it.
felt, and I was part of it,
Mm-hmm.
and I was love just be just for the sake of love.
For the sake of love. I mean, that really brings tears to
And
my eyes, honestly.
and that doesn't happen here.
No, it doesn't seem to, does it? Right. For the sake of the argument, it seems to be right now. For the
So
sake
it's
of the
really
cause. Yeah.
so it's really tiring
Yeah.
and exhausting how
It is.
everyone's arguing their different points and trying to be right. And it's like I'm just like to the point where, I mean, it's killing.
Yeah.
It's killing our spirits, you guys. It's breaking our souls, it's breaking our hearts, and we got to stop. We got to stop that,
Yes.
and sooner than later, believe me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, sorry.
Bravo. Bravo. We have got to stop this train of hate. Get back to love. And don't let
Yeah.
anyone tell you they have an issue with that.
And
Just
yeah, and
get back
sometimes
to it.
that's why I would rather hang out with puppy dogs and kitty cats
You're
because
telling me.
they get it.
They do get it. Unconditional love. They love you
Yes.
no matter what you look
Yeah,
like or what
that's
you've
right.
done or how
That's
much
right.
money you have or
That's right. Yeah, they
right.
share love. They are love. You
They
know, and
are.
it's so easy to love them.
It's
Not
so
everyone,
easy.
not everyone does that, unfortunately, but yes. Yeah.
Well, because the world
So,
makes you feel like you're not easy to love.
yeah.
There's so much giving up on each other too,
Yeah.
especially in these times when it does drive you to this. We
Yeah.
are all so vulnerable in how we feel,
Yeah.
So it's easy to give up. It's so easy to walk away. It's so easy to cut someone out of your life forever. It's been done to us. We've been cut out of people's lives forever, till
Yeah.
death. Italians are famous for this, and we got caught up in this. And it's what's your reward? We've got to take a more risk to reward stance. What is your reward? What's your prize here that you're right about something? What do you win?
Yeah.
And just take that out of the equation, and just come
Mhm.
together in love and acceptance and
Yeah.
stop judging. There's so much judging,
Yeah.
so we just
Yeah.
stop that.
Yeah.
Unconditional love and acceptance.
Yeah. And it's not,
And
I
we
know
are
it's
it.
not, yeah, it's not always easy, but we
No.
have to try. You have to try. And I mean,
But
and it's about loving them despite their
loving them from
faults.
afar, maybe, right? But
Yeah.
wishing them well. I don't
Yeah.
wish anybody any ill will. You know what I mean? I wish
Yeah.
you well. I want the best for
Yeah.
you. But it's so easy to get divorced. It's so easy to walk away. And, people are divorcing their own families right now as well. As people are
Right.
orphans, they don't agree and they get kicked out and they
Mm,
never speak again. It's very rampant. It's not just my story or Michael's story. It's
right.
very rampant. And what is important to you except for knowing who's not going to give up on you? Who is not going to give up on me, no matter how much they disagree with me or my opinion might, rub them the wrong way? Are they going to give up
Yeah.
on me? And, I have bonds. Michael and I have a bond, and Rosalind too. We will never give up on each other. Never. We will never walk away from each other. That doesn't mean divorce. You could still be divorced, but we will never give up on each other. We won't let
Yeah.
each other quit, and we never have. We never have, because there's no worse feeling in the world than when someone gives up on you. There's no worse feeling. You feel like you're too hard to love. And that's never the case. That's always their issue. It's always their issue if they're telling you you're too hard to love. It's not your issue. You know, you're not too hard to love. You're not.
Yeah.
You know? And but there is this tendency to just throw in the white towel. I mean, it's so easy, right? To just give up. It's just, I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah.
But to work out your issues, to work out your disagreements, to find some middle ground in the arguments, that's work. That's hard. It's easy to walk away and walk away with your own righteousness. So easy to do.
Yeah.
You know, and just go flock with people who agree with you. Just do that, you know.
Yeah.
You're surrounding yourselves by all these like-minded people who agree in everything you say, and there's no, you know, there's no loyalty there, because as soon as they don't agree with you, guess what? You're gone.
That's right. Yeah.
And, you know, so you'll just keep going from tribe to tribe to tribe if you can't learn how to work this stuff out and have a conversation without just giving up and walking away.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm with you. We can do this. We can shift it. We can. It's all energy. It really is all energy. We are all energy beings. And we have the ability to change our frequency. And we can, you know, you get caught up in the noise, but you can change your frequency. You really can. Just stay the course. And persistence. Don't give up.
Yeah.
Don't give up. The sun will always come back out, you know? It always will. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Well,
it was a good show, I think.
I hope so. Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think we were able to talk about death and dying without scaring anybody. Right? Or making them run away.
Yeah. I don't know, I just took a quick boo into the chat room and it's pretty quiet. So I'm hoping that's because everyone was just listening intently.
Yes.
And it could be a lot to process too. So, yeah. I mean, there's been a few times I've told my story in public and it hushed the room. So
way to quiet the room there, Jean.
People don't know what to say. Yeah. Yeah. So.
Well, see, that's the thing. That's what I would like to. That's why I'm glad we're talking about it. People simply don't know what to say. You know, they really don't in those times. So this is wonderful.
Yes. Okay. Well, I have nothing further to add. I feel kind of spent. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, well, you should. It was emotional. It was an emotional show, but it was great.
Okay. Well, if anyone, if after hearing the story, like because I know some people might have a question or a concern, you know, feel free to reach out to me privately, and I would be happy to, you know, discuss it. Yeah, you know, especially because I want people to feel comforted, not put off or, you know, even more fearful of it. So yeah, and I'm open to any kind of question, and if I don't know the answer, I will tell you I don't know the answer. So
you're honest with it. You're the most authentic person. Right?
I try.
You are.
I try. Okay.
Okay.
Well, thanks, Julie. It's nice. And thanks everyone for being here.
Yes. Thank you.
Love and light to all of you.
Yes. Be well. Okay.
Be well. Yeah.
Yes.
Stay safe, everyone.
Yes.
Okay. Bye.